Okay, I've just put an order in here at 1322.75, and the reason for that entry is you can see that just below where it says buy limit, you can see that we have two blue up arrows. One is at 1323 even, the other one is at 1322.25. Usually what we do in a case like that is take the average price, which in this case would be 1322.625, and obviously you can't buy it on the half tick like that. So that's why I put the order in at 1322.75. Now I've just adjusted it up one tick, and the reason being is you can see that where that yellow patch is and the bottom of it is the low of that magenta bar. There's three magenta bars, three consecutive magenta bars. The low of that is at 1322.75. Oftentimes these balance areas, you can see that there's a red dash line at the bottom just under the buy limit in green, and then up at the top there's a red horizontal line. Well, that is what we call a balance area, and a lot of times the market will for a period of time, depending on the strength and the range of the balance area, stay contained within it for a while. So rather than trying to buy this right on the low, um, which is at 1322.75, I've just adjusted this up one tick to 1323. So that's I guess you could say, a discretionary move. Our system trade would have us leave that entry in at 1322.75. It is just an adjustment I'm making on this trade. So we'll just, the market's pretty strong here. It's actually rallied quite a lot. The overnight low, okay, here it just dipped there and filled us. So we're now long at 1323 even. And we have our first objective, a sell limit for one half of our position for two contracts at 1323.75. Just three ticks for that first objective, and then another three ticks, or a total of six ticks, with the sell limit for one contract, which is for 1/4 of the position at 1324.50. I got another order up there at 1327 even, which is for 4 points, which in this particular case takes us right to the very high of the day. So I might adjust that, but and you can also see that we have our 6-tick maximum risks, which in this case is a sell stop, and because we're long at 1323 even, 6 ticks or a point and a half below that is at 1321.50. So that's where our sell stop is, our protective sell stop on this particular trade. Now you can just see that we had a selling bar come in. In other words, a bar, the previous bar just took out its previous bar's low. And it's given us a diamond and a triangle on its low. That's usually indicative of a pretty good rejection on the part of the buyers coming in and rejecting the efforts by the sellers to push it lower. So we should actually at this time see within the next, often it happens in the very next bar, but who knows, hopefully it'll happen here relatively soon, that the market will give us a bit of a bounce and at least reach that first objective. So now you can see here that previous bar, it came down and hit 1322.50. So if we had left our order in at 1322.75, we would have been filled on that as well. So basically we're doing the same as we were before, just we're entered just one tick higher. Now, as you can see, the market just rallied up and did reach our first objective, and so I'm just shifted the protective sell stop. I've now reduced that by 3 ticks. So our maximum risk at this point is just 3 ticks on the trade, and hopefully we'll get filled, shortly here at our first objective of 1323.75, which of course is just 3 ticks. And at that time we're selling one half of our position, which in this case is 2 contracts. As you can see, where the price is adjusting right there in the middle, it says 4 at the price of 13.23. It identifies that we're long 4. Okay, we just got filled, so now we're just long 2. So we have reduced our position in half by reaching our first objective. If the market were to turn around now and dip and hit our 13.22.25 protective sell stop, we would lose 3 ticks on 2 contracts. So we would be losing the same amount that we just made. So in essence, it would be a wash or a scratch, less the cost of commission, of course. So hopefully we can get a little bit more of a bounce. That rejection of that diamond and triangle bar is holding up nicely, and we have gotten a bit of a bounce since the market went down and hit 22.50. It's now rallied up to 24. So hopefully we can get a little bit more juice out of this and have it rally up to our second objective at least at 24.50. So we'll just keep watching it here. By the way, the market today, just to give you a little bit of a background, we had sent out our regular video yesterday on Thursday, today of course being Friday, Feb 11th. We had sent out our video on the 10th saying that there was a very important support still holding at 13.10, and that quite possibly 13.14 area, if it could hold, or if the market could get above 13.19, it would be bullish. So as it turns out, the market overnight went down and hit 13.10 right on the dot, which was the exact same low that it made in the overnight session on the previous day, and then rallied all the way up to 18.50. So it didn't rally up there. I should rephrase that. The market actually opened in the overnight session around 13.18 and change, and then dropped down to 13.10, and then opened today. I think it was around 13.15 or so, maybe actually a little bit below that. Yeah, the market opened at 13.75 today, so just a little bit below potential resistance area. Okay, we've hit the second objective here, and so the stop has now been adjusted to break even. So should the market now pull back, move against us, and hit our 13.23 stop, we'd be stopped out on one half of the position, so we'd be break even on that half. But of course, we've still got our profits from the first half, where we had a profit of 3 ticks on 2 contracts. So that open today was just below an area that we thought was not so much resistance, but could contain the market, and that was in around the 13.14, 13.15 area. And of course, the market, after hitting 13.10 overnight, turned right around and had a nice move higher today, and moved above that 13.14 area, and has maintained this bullishness, which is of course what our intraday directional bias has been for quite some time. I think it goes back to September, early September. I think we've only had a couple of days of attempted transition into the intraday down auction. So we've really had a preference to be buyers, in other words, trade from the long side, for what's that, September, October, November, December, January. That's 5 half months almost, something like that. So at any rate, so when it did move above 14, it actually today, if you take a look at the market, it kind of stalled around 15, kind of hung in there for a little bit, and then rallied up above it. And obviously, we've had a good move higher here today. So, okay, we've been filled on that. That's good to see. And of course, our stop will still be at break even. So. Just to recap, we sold 2 for a 3-tick profit each for a total of 6 ticks, and now we just sold 1 contract, or 1/4 of our position, also for 6 ticks. So we've locked in at least 12 ticks of profit on this trade, and which is equivalent to 3 points, which is equivalent to $150. So it's $50 per point, $12.50 per tick. with the market moving up here 25.50, this is where the market had that bit of a peak here, as you can see, some 15 minutes ago. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, it can just continue to move higher. That rejection off of the lower prices near the low of this balance area, I think, is somewhat instructive here today, because when you can see a good shot of the balance area now, and that's that red horizontal line at 1322.75, one tick below our entry price, and then up there on the high at 1327, where I also have the sell limit for the final contract in. Um, and these balance areas are really good indications of a vertical move within the day time frame, showing that that phase of the auction cycle, which is then likely to become more of a consolidation phase once that vertical has taken place, and we'll have some horizontal development with the low of a buying balance area like that, a lot of times acting as good support. And that's why I went ahead and adjusted that entry just one tick above the low of that balance area, with the expectation that it would act as good support and then have a nice rally. So when the market did come down and test it, that diamond and triangle bar that rejected the continued efforts by the sellers when the buyers came in, as I was mentioning right after it occurred, that we'd likely have good move higher, and we've had that. So I've gone ahead now that we've moved at least 3 ticks above our second objective. Our second objective was 24.50, 1324.50, and it reached 1325.25. So because it's moved 3 ticks above that second objective, I've moved the sell stop 3 ticks above our entry price, to at least lock in 3 ticks on the final partial for this trade. So if we do get stopped on this trade, at least we've made some profit on that final partial, rather than just leaving it at break even. So there's a lot of different ways that we go ahead and manage the final partial. We like to use a paint bar if they're available, but as you can see here today, since we have been in this trade, there has been no paint bar formed, and as a result, we'll just have to, in essence, and the reason I'm actually using a trailing stop here is when the market went up there and hit 27, it came back fairly quickly. So there's obviously some pretty good inventory up there, and pushed the market down. No, not tremendous force, but pretty good force. So I think for the market immediately to get back up to that height might be asking a little too much of it, but we'll just leave it there and see what we get. So we'll just watch this here for a minute. Well, we're just a tick from getting stopped out, so it's we should get a bit of support right in this area, but looks like we might get stopped out, so we'll just continue to watch it here. I think I'll go ahead and reduce that order. I think it's probably asking a little too much for that market to go up and actually touch the high of the day. So bring that down to 3 ticks below it. So maybe we can get a little bit of burst of energy here in the market. It might run up and hit that 26 area, and we could have a nice profit on our final partial here. Let's move it over there so you can still see the balance area, how the market has been contained within it. Well, it's kind of stalling out here, but we'll just okay. Now, as you can see, we've just had that shaded area appear in the background, and this is actually indicative or an indication that the high that has been made um, could hold for a while, and that this area that we're in right now, anywhere within this light brown shaded area, um, is probably an area where the sellers have shown some pretty good resistance, and if the market can probe up into that area and with a good rejection, yeah, on a short-term basis, it could be a short entry. Although on a powerful up day like today, that's obviously you'd have to be very nimble to make that trade. But as far as the auction is concerned on a short time frame, that could definitely be a potential scenario. So um, if I hadn't adjusted the protective sell stop to at least salvage 3 ticks out of it, I certainly would do that now because of that shaded area in the background, meaning that that's pretty strong indication of some seller control up there and good inventory. So it's going to be difficult for the market to get too much above that. It's so we'll give it a few more minutes here and see if our stop holds. Although because of that light brown area in the background, it's less likely. So we'll just leave the stop in here, and it doesn't mean to say we still couldn't have a spike up and perhaps get filled on that before it comes back down and test that 1323 area again, 1322.75 area, where the market had found support after this balance area had formed. So we've been in this trade now for, I think it's about 18 minutes or something like that. So it's a pretty good length of time to let it run, unless the market is just really in a bullish trend or bearish trend in a strong way. Our trades don't often last, 20, 30 minutes. I mean, occasionally they do last even longer, but not as a general rule. Looks like we might get stopped out here now. Yeah, okay. Well, that's it. So we got 3 ticks, so a total of 15 ticks, which is 187.50 on our trade. So that's not so bad. And the market only moved 2 ticks against us on that entry. So a good trade for today. Nice profit on that, taking about 20 minutes. So thanks for watching. See you soon.